What are we going to do today?
How about if we go see Topaz Mountain, Utah?
I like that.
Not like we didn't know, because somebody was checking the weather and decided we were going to go hunt rocks this
We
morning.
don't have that many weekends probably left. It's going to be that nice out there.
She says that we'll be out every weekend.
Oh yeah, we have it. We're going next weekend too.
It'll be cold.
It's going to be great.
All right, don't know if you can see that, but there's a little stink bug there trying to find some shade. Some sort of great big beetle anyway. There it is, crawling out behind the rock. We thought we'd stop and take just a second and look at the area where we're at. So, kind of a fascinating area. We're moving up towards Topaz Mountain. This isn't Topaz Mountain. This is actually the Drum Mountains. There's kind of an interesting story about the Drum Mountains. Apparently they were named because every once in a while you hear a drum sound come out of the mountains. Nobody knows where that would originate from, and I've asked some of the people in Delta, where there's a great museum there. I asked the people at the museum if anybody knew the story behind that or if they'd ever heard the drum sounds, and nobody seems to have heard it. So as we swing towards the north, you can start to see this change in color. So first of all, back to the Drum Mountains, kind of a, I would call that a darker brown. And then as you swing around, we see what is Topaz Mountain. It's kind of a gray color. This is rhyolite, and the cavities in the rhyolite is where the topaz was formed. Apparently, between Topaz Mountain and somewhere to the right, apparently when Lake Bonneville, which in the last 20,000 years filled some of the spaces between the mountains here, when it catastrophically emptied with the floods, it turns out that this area in there is where the water that was here drained out to the north side, which was somewhat lower. Lake Gunnison stayed on the south side, the remnants of Lake Bonneville on the north side, and then over this way, and you can see Stephanie right here looking for some rocks. I found a piece of agate the second we got out of the truck. She's looking for one too, I think. Out this way, just on the other side of this mountain, there is some sand dunes. Little Sahara is what it's called. Bragging a little bit. Let's see if we can get the focus on that piece right there. There we go, just a little bit of focus, a little bit of light. Okay, so one other thing we have here, there's a large lava field. I don't think we can see it very well yet. There's a little vent straight ahead here, and a large lava field that extends down to where you can almost see the Intermountain Power Plant. There's a smokestack there and a little bit of smoke going up. In the distance, there's the smokestack. In the distance behind that, you can see the mountains we were at before, the Canyon Mountains. And Stephanie, I just found another piece of agate. I was going to have you hold it up to the sun for me and see if we could get a little bit of shine through on it and see what we've got here. Not bad. Not bad. All right, thank you.
It's really pretty, the two pieces of agate we found. There it is. Now,
Very good. There's a volcanic vent again. Somewhere over that way is Little Sahara. Somewhere over there is the Keg Mountains. Somewhere over there, I should say. And then there's Bart. Here we go. I'll have to find a little more, hopefully petrified wood, maybe a few pieces of agate, and definitely some topaz crystals.
boy, that's a lot of pronghorns.
Somewhere around 18 to 20.
Okay, we're just about to the turnoff. If you notice, it says Weiss Highway, and it's just before you take the turn out a little further past Topaz Mountain.
Continue on Weiss Highway for 3 miles.
We'll take this for about 3 miles. Full road. Doesn't get too bumpy until we get a little closer to where we're going to look for some topaz. Took the next road left, and there's some rocks and a lot of sagebrush and rabbit brush out here. It gets a little bumpy, but pretty much anytime this whole area you can pull off somewhere and start looking for topaz. I think we find a little better luck further in.
Closer you are, it seems like a little better it goes.
Yeah.
What happens is that the crystals erode out of the mountain. They're washed down in the rainstorms, whatever gravity, however they come down. And the longer that they're out of the mountain, the more they change color from yellow to clear. So we really don't climb up the mountain and try and dig them out of the bugs, out of the little cavities, out of the rhyolite cavities. We just kind of enjoyed picking up what glints on the road. And then I think the other thing we're going to do is today, I think I mentioned earlier, I'm hoping to find some petrified wood. I'm after petrified wood. Oh, sun's out, you're starting to see some of the glinting.
Awesome.
Now, one of the other things that we have noticed is if we're looking for something like agate or petrified wood, this area right here that has a lot more rock on the road is a place we would potentially stop. Because we're not really looking for agate, we'll keep going. We'll get a little closer to the mountain, maybe in one of the washes that brings down some of the crystals.
All right, I'm excited to see what we find. All right, we took this small road off of Weiss, and you can see the mountains in the background. It's so gorgeous here. This is the wash I'm getting ready to check out. It's gonna be great. Sun's out enough that I think we'll be able to see some of that shine we were hoping for. There's Topaz Mountain with all the rhyolite. Road continues up that way, which we will go on a little bit further, find some more. Kent has already found some agate over there. He's checking out that hill on the side. And our trusty Bart here. Just a beautiful day to be out hunting topaz. Okay, Kent has come back with his finds on that hill over there. Tell me about what you found.
So I think it's agate seams. So if you can imagine cracks in the rhyolite, hot gases coming up through, depositing things, I think that's agate. And the reason I think that is because it's so smooth, and then when I put it under a light, it glows green.
Did you check it with the light already? Okay.
So, well, I haven't checked this yet, but this is very similar to what we found
just a little further down the road.
When we stopped down there and looked at the lava flow, got Keg Mountain, was the sound. I don't know that there's any way you could make jewelry out of that, but I thought, what if you found some of these large sheets and maybe found some way to make a wind chime out of it?
Yeah, it almost sounds like it.
Cut it in a wind chime kind of pieces. So that's what I'm thinking.
Really fun. Those are cool.
So I'll spray one off and see if it looks better sprayed off.
Yeah, sounds great. Just a little lizard out here. Almost always see a lizard or two when we're out. Just a little chilly, but not bad with a jacket on today. There's plenty of quartz here for sure in different colors, mostly this reddish brown type. Then the other thing we've been finding, and here's another piece, is this stuff. Several nice pieces in this area just up the hill from the wash. Oh, there's another one. Just as you're walking around, just look for a spot that has some shine. That one, then I saw this one. Very pretty. There's one right by my hammer. There. So it's amazing how you can just walk along and find pieces all over the ground. And sometimes it just feels like certain areas will have quite a few all in a row. And there's some more of that other stuff we were finding that's probably going to glow really bright. Probably be really bright green. We'll check that out when we get the light out in the truck. Truck, we're gonna head on up, and while we're doing that, let's talk about what we found.
So, found out I'm cranky today.
Oh,
You probably noticed.
that's surprising.
The camera. You know what would make me happy?
If you found something really cool.
No, because what you find isn't how you define your happiness.
That's true.
How you define your happiness is how you think about yourself.
Good point. Good
And
point.
so, if I really want to be happy, I got to think about myself as a guy who enjoys going out to find rocks and enjoys the different challenges along the way and the fun of the process.
Mm-hmm.
And I would still like to find a really nice piece of petrified wood. There's a billion crystals here. You can see them shining as you drive in on a sunny day. There's a little too much cloud cover today, but on any sunny day, you'll see hundreds of them. Or they're just not hundreds. Billions. There's so many. And the challenge is figuring out how to find one you like and taking the time and having the patience either to bend over and pick up rocks or to sit down and scout out an area. Now this is an area we've looked at before by the car. I found a little piece of petrified wood here once. I didn't see much back where we were at.
Didn't we go up in the side of that hill a little bit?
We might have.
I think it was where there was that rock that had the big holes in it that you could see through.
Do
It
we
was
want to go
pretty
a little
cool.
further in, or do we want to look here?
You know what? I know I want to go a little further, but I think we can see this either way.
Yeah, let's go further. I don't know that we ever... Well, we made it all the way up one time, right? The first time we were here, which was, what, a year ago or so?
2 years.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
How long have we been married now?
A long time.
Long
so
time.
long.
So,
Now you can notice how rough the road starts to get through here, but it's not bad. Go ahead.
and it doesn't make the crystal gathering any better because of the nature of the road. Now, a lot of times when we're finding agate, the road where we find the agate is this kind of a road, right? You get out where all the rocks are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my drink. It's noisy.
Wow. It's just gonna be rattling the whole way. So I know this part that we're getting ready to come to, this ravine, I definitely want to search here because I always find good stuff here.
We usually go downstream or up the hill a little bit.
Yep, right here.
We don't go upstream very often. Should I stop here?
Yeah.
All right, let me back up then and pull off the road. There's a little spot here.
Yeah, I love this spot. It's always a good place to look.
And if you want a campfire spot, there's even a campfire spot here.
I've noticed that people have some places like that. Interesting, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, good time to get hydrated. Always have plenty of water and Diet Coke on hand.
Nice.
Here we go. Next place that we are going to search for topaz. Isn't this beautiful? Just like what we were talking about. Just being out here is so enjoyable. Man, I don't even care if I find anything that's perfect or even close to perfect. Just being able to be out here. So far, there's nobody else out here today. As far as I know, we're the only ones. So it's really peaceful. Just us and the lizards, a few stink bugs mostly so far that I've seen. Not even really much in the way of birds. Just super quiet. So I'm gonna head down in this wash and start looking for little sparkly pieces of topaz. too cold for my chacos. Next stop, just around the corner from where we're at now, will be another nice ravine. We can see what we can find there. Fortunately, it's a little further into fall. I'm not having as many problems with the allergies to sagebrush, but it's a perfect day actually to be out here. And we may not have very many more of those, so try and enjoy the warmish weather while we can. Mid-50s, perfect rock hounding temperatures, really. All right, have to go find Kent now though, so that's probably next. All right, I found Kent, and now we're heading up this wash a little further, just past the lizard that he took some video of just a minute ago. Are we gonna find some petrified wood?
Nope, not today. It's done.
At least there's one thing we know we can find at the end of this trip. You know what that is? This view again. There's Bart down there. And see a little bit of sparkle of topaz, but it doesn't seem like quite as much here, huh?
Yeah, I think the sun just isn't, it's just not well exposed. There's a little too
Yeah.
much cloud cover. So it's making it harder to hunt for topaz. We're not getting as many glints.
Yeah, the clouds are just in and out. They make for beautiful shots. Wow, look at those clouds up over that mountain. What's the name of that mountain straight across? Do we know?
I don't know for sure. Skull Mountain might be over that way. But just slightly to the left is the House Mountains, I think.
Okay. All
Or
right.
I'm sorry, the Drums. The
Drum Mountains we came around the side of, right?
Yeah. And
That's
this
really
all
pretty.
might be the house range, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, we'll look that up
Things
and
I'm
add
trying
that
to
in.
figure out. Or comment on it next time we come here.
For sure. Probably getting close to wrapping up here at Topaz Mountain for today anyway. Hey Kent, what do you want to say now that I've got the video ready?
We're actually recording.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed hanging out with us today, seeing Topaz Mountain in Utah, like and subscribe.
Thanks.
All right, we found a couple of rocks today, and we want to just look at them very quickly before we call it a night. Now on these are some agate that we found that seem to have kind of a botryoidal surface. If you can imagine those surfaces up against rhyolite in a narrow seam, that's what it seems like most of that came from. We're just going to look at that under a black light very quickly.
Take a look at these two.
And also take a look at...
botryoidal on that one.
Yeah, you can really get a good sense of the shape on that. I'm going to even hold that up just a little bit so that you can see the bubbling on it.
That's a pretty cool one. I found that. Love it.
All right, so, hey Google, turn off the kitchen lights.
Now watch what happens when we add our UV beast. Oh boy. Can you see that very well?
Pretty amazing.
They're so bright. Like that one. Okay, there was a few good ones over here too. I love that one.
That's
That is
just
so great.
amazing.
This one's pretty bright. That one's pretty cool.
Yeah, where it has that golden color,
Yeah.
which is, we think, is probably quartzite, with a whole lot of the green, which is the uranyl ions that get into the SiO2 lattice.
That is so cool. These are great.